All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Now Testify FSD, fresh off the download for my Cybertruck 2024.45.32.15 a boatload. Hopefully we'll be on a 2025 build here very soon. Thought in my last video that we would be on the last build of 2024, but 13.2.7 FSD, so we're going to give it a shot on Testloop 1 to Pybus market, and let's get going. Yeah, that's strange. All right, giving it some accelerator. So having a little bit of a hard time getting out from a parking spot, or pulled over at least to a degree. Just got a slight dusting of snow. It's actually a little slick, strangely enough, even though it's like a dusting. But nothing too concerning. It is super cold. It is 23 degrees here in central Washington. So it's essentially shaved ice, like finely shaved ice, right? So we're going a little bit slower than normal, which I'm okay with. And then we've got some clearer roads here. So I actually filmed the drive. I'm probably not going to post it now, because I just filmed it yesterday, the day before yesterday, and I just didn't get to editing it soon enough before I got this version. But my concern was with some right turn only and left turn only lanes. If you saw my last 13.2.6 video, then you would have seen some of the issues. So they'll be up here if you want to rewatch that. We're going to revisit those today. I'm not expecting any changes for that, but the interesting thing too is I mentioned I went out and filmed those troublesome areas on 13.2.6 the day before yesterday, and I did lightning rounds with them. I filmed doing it several times in a row, and it nailed it. So every time, like, I couldn't get it to mess up. So we're going to be super timid here. There's even like this turn lane that you can't really see, and so I guess neither does the car, that we should be able to get into. And I don't have anybody behind me, so if I had somebody behind me, which there's people coming now, I'm going to have to give it some accelerator to give it some confidence to pull out, because we will be here forever if not. And it is slick, but we should be able to do this safely. So still nobody behind me. I thought a car was going to do it, but guess not. But I have noticed, so we are on standard mode, and that was what I was on yesterday while it did everything perfectly. And now we're getting the poor weather detected. As you can see, there's a slight dusting on the windshield. Even that. Okay. Actually, that's very good.
Auto mute memory.
And even using the turn lane initially. Interesting. Okay. It pretty much never does that. So, but that's a good thing. However, it could have taken advantage of that. I think in a couple of situations, I have to think back now if that would have been something. I wasn't expecting it to do that, so I wasn't even thinking about it trying to attempt to use that lane. So I was just thinking it was going to let everything be clear, which it did, but then it still got into that kind of turn lane. So interesting. And hard to know, right? It's covered in snow. I can't see the lane lines, but we're getting some projections of the turn lane here. So, what are you to do? Interesting. Off to an interesting start. Slow, but interesting. coming up to our yielding to roundabout traffic. So far, this has actually been very good and verifiably good. So that's been a positive. We should yield here for, no, I guess we're gonna roll. That's fine, actually. That car wasn't moving fast enough, and I probably would have been halfway irritated had I just sat there too. So one of those weird things where I might have waited, but flow of traffic was just right for it to go ahead and do its thing. So that gets a thumbs up from me. I've also noticed, and let me know in the comments if you have noticed this as well, because this is interesting. I feel like in some circumstances, I am able to actually, even when it's in FSD, move the wheel just slightly where it actually does feel like it moves just slightly. Like, I could be, it could be a Cybertruck thing. It could be my feel like it's I'm hallucinating or something. I don't know, but it feels like I can make slight movements without disengaging, and it'll still keep engaged, but move just so slightly. So I've done this a few times when FSD is hugging the left lane line too much, and I just slightly push on it, and it does seem to move it just slightly. I don't know. Let me know if you have experienced that. I usually try and put enough pressure on it so if it happens to move any further, then I'm able to curb it right there. All right, so we've got law enforcement in the area. No worries about speeding here. And, really rarely reasons to worry about speeding when you have FSD engaged, unless you've got the 40% offset. That's just crazy. So far, FSD actually doing a very good job, even though there's some snow on the roads and the lanes aren't 100% clear. Obviously, we do have traffic for it to follow, but still, I think doing a pretty good job of staying within the lane, even though those lines aren't present. So that's a thumbs up there too. In this next block we're coming up on after this light is the top of our Pybus challenge, which, if you've been watching my channel, you won't need to hear this again. And if this is your first time watching the channel, thank you so much. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. It is free and it does help the channel. Thank you so much. You'll get a shout out in my future FSD videos as well. Right turn at the bottom of the street if we stay in this right lane. Now, what has happened yesterday or the day before is hopefully what we're going to see right here. Yep, this is perfect. This is exactly what we needed to do. Move over into this lane so we're no longer in that right turn only lane. So we can make it to the market, as you can see, at the bottom of the hill. So that's perfect. We're on a good course. Now the next challenge, which was not a challenge until I got the Cybertruck, is there's another right turn only lane through this intersection across the train tracks, and it sometimes, for some reason, wants to get into that right turn lane and then still go straight. So basically repeating what was my Pybus challenge, but we'll see. So as long as we stay straight here, we're going to make it to the market intervention free. Not user error free, but intervention free. So we don't need to make a left. This is interesting. I haven't seen this before, but maybe, oh, you know what? I have seen this. So it does like to think, even though it's going straight, that it needs to make a left. And it's, come on. Okay, so I'm going to give it an accelerator. We're not going to take a left here. Hopefully that Tesla knew what was going on. So that's a weird interaction. I've never seen that before. It paused in the middle of a four-way stop intersection, and I wasn't paying attention to the screen. I was kind of watching what it was going to do. So interesting, and not We're going to go ahead and disengage, and then we'll go ahead and put in our return loop. So, weird disengagement. I have not seen that before. And so I guess technically we did not make it to the market without intervention. That's unfortunate because we were like the last few inches. But I've got the return path put in. I'm going to set it up here. Let's see if it will allow us to engage here. And no, we want to go left. We want to go left. I'm going to have it go left. Go left. Oh my gosh. That's another weird thing. I don't know if it's because I was in the intersection. It like wants the default to go to the right. Autopilot defaulting to moving right, taking a right out of a parking lot instead of following the route to the left. I don't know. That's a weird one. I've always seen it get confused at that weird intersection, though, in various versions throughout time. So it's something like, obviously not a critical disengagement, but just strange behavior. So, also be interesting, again, to see, I'll have to do some more rounds and see what happens with that intersection. That's a weird one, or just, I don't know. Again, maybe if you've seen that behavior before, let me know in the comments. Good speed, though, you know, again, with the roads being slightly unpredictable, I feel very comfortable with the speed and velocity it's using in order to make its maneuvers. It does feel safe. Actually think I did feel a little bit of wheel slip there. Quick right, and then we'll be taking a left up here in this next block, and being that it's 5 o'clock, it might be busier than we usually see it. So we shall see what kind of traffic we get here with our unprotected left. And it's 2 lanes in each direction. This one has always been kind of has only had some challenges actually when other vehicles were turning in front in my Model Y in versions 10 and 11. So nobody behind. The only kind of weird thing with Cybertruck and only having the rear view there. Okay, so it's really taking its time, making sure it's super clear. It should go. It should go. Why isn't it going? It's clear on both sides. Do I have anybody behind me? No. I don't. Nobody behind me. FSD is engaged. I'm not seeing, like, travel path. Now it's thinking about it. That's weird. It was totally clear in both directions. I don't know. I don't know what to say on that one. That one took forever. And shouldn't have. There was a good opportunity, plenty of opportunities there, so. Yes, I haven't had to think about this in quite a while. For usually not down here when it's super busy, but let's see what happens. So we do need to be in the right-hand lane. There is a lot of traffic that is in obviously this lane, so we will need to slip in order to make it to the on-ramp to the bridge. And so we've skipped all this traffic that is, in the line, and there's an argument to be made for zipper merging. I'm actually on board with that argument. Like, people shouldn't be backed up that far and people should be allowed to zipper merge, and people should be nice enough to let people merge. Maybe we have a car blocked up here. I think that might be the case. This one guy just ahead of us went around. Let's see what FSD does actually. Oh, yep. Wow, look at that. Car in the middle of the road, and FSD follow. I mean, we had a follow me car, which is great, but that's amazing. I have never witnessed that before. I've seen it in videos before, but that's fantastic. And now we're gonna have to make our lane change over. We've got plenty of space to do it. Guy behind us is reluctantly letting us in, but is letting us in. Wow, that was cool. Again, I think I've seen other videos, cars stop in the middle and it's gone around, but yeah, that's neat. That's those human-like behavior things that I just wouldn't expect FSD to do. And when you experience something like that for yourself, it's pretty wild. And super sensitive for me always on this on-ramp. I'm looking over here, and for some reason it does not like me looking in this direction as I'm following the path of travel here. Blinker on that whole way through, which is irritating, but that's all it is, irritating. So now we're in our correct lane. For our George Sellar Bridge challenge right up ahead. And as I was saying, this was another part of the drive I did just the other day on 13.2.6 that's had mixed results, whether it actually would choose the correct path of travel. And it nailed it, of course, when I was filming it, trying to film all the stuff it does wrong. So hopefully that is still the case here. We're going slow enough for it to have that ability to make that right decision. And yes, that is good. So see, we have the option actually in this lane to go left, but it did choose the inner portion of the lane, which is right and perfect and great. So, bravo. Pay attention. I'm paying attention to the road, my guy. Huh? Huh? I am paying attention. I've even got it on film. Again, good speed here. You know, it's slower than the speed limit, but again, with the weather conditions such that they are, it's appropriate. And if you can hear that whistle, let me know. It's like an oscillating whistle. About 31 to 34. That's an unfortunate front motor thing. Whoa. Yep. Should have stopped for a red light. Even though it's a red, this is not a free right turn or even a right turn through lane. So it should have stopped for that red light. So I have noticed that before in this vehicle and on my Y. It has done that a handful of times where it just rolls that red light. But it's not always. It's another one of those things where more often than not it gets it correct. But an instance like that where absolutely that was wrong and it was totally proceeding through like it was in a right turn lane that was able to ignore. That's unfortunately not one of those lanes. It looks like it could be, and I could see how the system could be confused by that, especially without lane markings or anything. But it is not. It should have stopped. So there is a disengagement there. And while not a, I guess you still consider that a safety critical and disengagement because, you know, I had to stop. There's no cars coming. It was safe to proceed, but it was against the law. So guess it's a critical disengagement, maybe not a safety. I don't know. Critical disengagement. You should know better. But it wasn't unsafe. So we're basically at the tail end of the drive here. We got a left, another, and then a quick right, and then a quick left. Certainly nothing challenging. So I'm going to start wrapping up here. Overall, you know, pretty good. I'm happy with a very first drive, initial impressions of this. It does seem like it could very well be a nice improvement over 13.2.6, and like I said, I was having some troubles with, which, you know, maybe they're resolved, maybe they weren't. It's hard to say, but that was, I would say, a pretty good drive on the whole. It wasn't perfect, unfortunately. That I think the strangest one actually was that four-way stop behavior right before the market. Like, we were in a perfect spot to be able to press forward, just go straight. We didn't, and for some reason it had the turn signal on. The marker was across the intersection and in the market parking lot. So there was no reason for it to take a left. So I don't know what maybe was confusing it. And then it basically stopped in the middle of that intersection too, which was also weird. So that was probably the strangest thing. But then we had that super cool going around that stopped car for whatever reason. Again, that basically in my book kind of offsets that to degree, and it nailed the things I'm testing for. You know, generally, like the things that has messed up consistently in the past, that right turn only lane at the bottom of Pybus Market, and especially choosing the correct path of travel on the bridge coming back, and nailed those. So on the whole, pretty good. I'll definitely be continuing to test, and we'll see what happens going forward, and I'm not going to go down that street this time. So that will do it for this particular video. And yeah, if you haven't, definitely like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can find me on X. I'm there, active almost every single day. Please give me a follow there too, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.